Hi everyone, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Today's video will be about offenses and offenders. What offenses are? Offending means when there are harms ways or harm way, there is a harm, there is a hurting, there is a violation against someone's nature or something's nature. That how do we actually know that someone's nature or something's nature is getting violated? The reason why, the way we know how something got violated or someone's nature has been violated, the way to realize that is that because someone got hurt, someone got damaged, someone has a damage energetically, physically, and or psychologically compared to someone's original nature. So how we know that what is actual someone's or something original nature? How do we know that? We need to look at the individual, someone, or when it comes to looking at individuals, it could be also something. Individual in this case means could be any natures, any individual natures, which is not alive. Individual could also mean any individual natures which are alive. So where offenses actually are beginning at or from? Energy. The number one thing, the first thing what actually appears for us humans, everybody has realized by now that there is a radiation war on Earth. But very few people have actually realized the source of the radiation war. Where there is energy, there is always radiation. Now, energy is everywhere. Biological systems, as well as living things, will always have more energy. That means electricity sustaining abilities rather than anything else. So, how come certain radiations or energies, electricities, are harmful, but certain others are not? And how can we actually put an end to the pandemic, which is in this case, just like in any other cases, was jeopardized. Uh, I mean, was propelled by energies. Where energy is coming from? The energy is getting sustained by the sun of the planet. There is only one sun. That's the core. The reflection of the core is in the sky. The core has a top part, that's the shiny part, and the core has a bottom part. That's the part what is also shiny, but differently. It has a layer of layer of protection, a cover over it. That reflection is called the moon, which is the reflection of the South Pole. The light emanating from the central sun of the earth through the South Pole to the skies. And the light is emanating, radiating light to the North Pole, that's the sun, or through the North Pole, that's the sun. Being focused, then spread around the world. Sunlight energy. So, why would that energy be poisoned? Or why would that energy appear to be poisoned what otherwise meant to be clean? That's why there are filtration systems in between the layers of that projection ability, what we see in the sky or skies. There are 7 + 1 skies on Earth, just as many actually activated areas in the atmosphere. So the inactivated Earth functionalities are divided by 4, like the 4 main elements. And then when the four main elements get mixed in one environment, and that is actually humanly right, so it's aligning with synchronity, humanly right, energetic, physical, as well as psychological abilities, then the fifth element will be produced, which is technically a human natured electromagnetic reality. But how can the 4 main elements be aligned, then activated through the fifth, when the system is not well, when the system is dirty? And why the system is dirty? Why is this system of the planet, which helps us to stay alive, is sick? And this shows everywhere, on societies, on individuals, on animals, on plants, on objects. First of all, on radiations, on ethers, on electromagnetic fields. It shows more than anything else through frequencies. In 1906, just about the time when the First World War was happening already, or started happening, depending on which part of the planet we are looking at. The population of the planet has experienced exactly the same electromagnetic reality, just like in every 100 years. So the cycle of electromagnetic fields by quality of nature repeats itself. It can only repeat itself the way it has been left behind by those individuals of which the electromagnetisms were going through. Thus, or therefore, kept them alive. If the biological systems are polluted, the energies will be polluted. If the energies are polluted, then everything else around those polluted energies will support a polluted electromagnetic reality. So it is a vicious cycle, an evil cycle, which kills, destroys humans by stopping humans living a human life. So, where is it coming from? How can we actually stop this electromagnetic nature infection? Some people would say, like there was a picture of Tesla, Nikola Tesla, who believed of what I was believing earlier, that bad energies could be corrected by good energies. Bad energies could be exchanged by good energies. Good energies, good by good frequencies and vibrations, which are educate, that means proper, towards actual living beings by category of natures, because we all got different energetic or electromagnetic requirements. He believed that living beings will heal and also will remain healed. Tesla sat in 1906. Tesla sat on a chair like this, or sort of like this, or like this, sort of like this. Everybody knows the picture. Behind the picture, or behind him on the picture, in the background, he had a circling uh, coil that technically was representing the two-dimensional reality of how the geothermal energy or electricity power household is functioning. It was a pretty big coil what he created out of copper. Now he was able to connect uh, different types of elements to this, and he was able to I don't know what it called really in English. In Hungarian we call it dioda or diodak. These are I think made up by mercury, zinc, copper, gold, platinum, some noble, other noble minerals could also be used, including crystals, to actually measure, to detect and measure frequencies and vibrations, algorithms, and also biorhythms all around the planet, from one floor to another. Well, Tesla was right because energies could be healed, protected through energies. But about how to actually do it, besides Tesla, there were only probably less than 10 people on the entire planet who understood how to actually, what will actually make the difference about how to heal someone's ether, between ether. So we got one ether that's around us, it has been projected on us. We all know that it is sick. Otherwise, there would be no sick beings if the electromagnetic reality, the electromagnetic field would be not sick. People or beings would not be sick. So the realization of how to actually repair electromagnetic realities, words, qualities jeopardized less than 10 people on the planet because they realized how to actually fix the human environment. So, less than 10 people on the planet officially who were, also part of a big scientist organization, more or less. Most of them, just like Tesla, were forced to be with those group of people by troubled group of people of all different types from all different parts of the planet. They literally kidnapped scientists and forced scientists to explain what's going on because nobody had a clue by being affected. Because when the human mind getting affected, because the human brain is infected and the nervous system is infected through radiations firstly, then everything bad what goes with it goes with the bad radiations, bad physical things, especially food, especially air and water, as well as then psychologically also got nuts, crazy, completely illogical, like oppositely to being logical, oppositely to being human natured. And that's exactly what is going on non-stop on the planet, while from time to time we're feeling it more, and from time to time we can feel it a little bit maybe less in one way or another in this 100-year cycle of circulating poisoned poisoned alive electrified, energized, energetic, physical as well as psychological realities, qualities, words. This started, the chaos started more than 12.6 thousand years ago and never really stopped. There were areas where on the planet where civilizations were able to stop it for a while, and then once they get revealed, they had to escape from the other infected human looking beings who were just like today, do not behave like humans do. Besides realizing the fact that categorizing natures accordingly the original electromagnetic qualities, frequencies, vibrations, algorithms, biorhythms, the scientists also revealed some other solutions besides categorizing biological systems, then help biological systems support biological systems in their own category of natures to do well as much humanly as much it is possible. Besides that, energetic uh, solution simply by measuring people's aura, ether, electromagnetism. These top scientists also realized how to categorize the environment by physical nature, how to categorize the environment, how to realize the 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 emergence, the how to realize the borders, the the what makes actually one biological system to get along with another physically, and which are those physical similarities anatomically, which will automatically support living beings, human living beings, to get along, simply because they share very similar anatomy. That's why also they are receiving very similar energies. Every anatomy on the planet will receive energies, could only receive energies momentary without any actual changes or administrations in the way they are. Primarily, those who got cancer in them, that means polluted cellular structures which are dying, will receive dying energy automatically before they could receive anything else, because that's what they carry. I mean, the pollutions carrying that energy with them, through them, not for them and not from them, but to them. And of course, in this case, against them. So, the physicists call the war radiation war. The biologists call the war biological war. The psychologists call the war, or calling the war, psychological war. And those people who got enough human life supporting information, that means intelligence, real intelligence for humans, which is required to actually be able to be there for any other beings. Without living with human nature, it is really not possible to be for any other living beings or non-living beings properly. That's not really possible because faulty systems, energetic, physical, or psychological systems, will produce faulty results all the time. Living in faultiness, propelled by insurance companies who got insurances behind them, will also sustain a faulty system for faulty beings. I mean, yeah, technically for faultinesses in beings or between beings. Up to today, the world didn't change, and the world will never change. Like this. For cancer patients, or for any other animal nature infected humans, it is not a problem because they already in an animalistic reality, an animalistic world. So for them, if the world remains like this, won't make any much differences. It will not really, they got used to being sick so much and they got used to being paid being sick more rather than not being sick and not doing sick things. The world is so sick that more than half of the world momentarily dealing with offenses and causing offenses as victims of those offenses of which they think they are capable of dealing with. As of today, the police and the procedures to the police, road safety, politicians in every areas, healthcare workers, soldiers, firefighters, lifesavers, priests, as of today, they are all involved in serious crimes against human nature, human rights in every ways, energetically, physically, as well as psychologically, because they are sick and they are sickening everyone else by their sicknesses. And when I'm saying their sicknesses, I mean it because every offender knows when they're offending, but they cannot help it because their minds are possessed and they cannot care about not offending anymore, and they don't really see the differences between being offensive or being really defensive. They can't. They think they can offend to stop offenders, but that's a bacterial virus nature ruining and destroying human nature when that happens. And everybody knows that. Where do you guys, with the police, where do you guys get the guts to punish people instead of killing them? Where do you guys in the parliament, where do you guys get your guts from to torture people economically, financially? From hell. That's where you got your guts from hell against heaven. Every one of you. And that's not you doing it. I'm not blaming you. But that's something what goes through you, police officers, all of you, and politicians, all of you. What are you guys doing? Running around with guns and punishing people for being troubled? Where do you think will that lead to? And I know you don't mind the situation because you're living in that situation, in the tyrant, terrorizing, abusive, mean, evil world. When you're hurting people who got harmed or hurt, so they are hurting. Why don't you give them medications? Why don't you protect the human life instead of torturing it when it's sick? When you have the ability to do it, so you trained to protect people, not to torture people. Police. You're not police. You are an international criminal organization as is, including all the judges behind you, the justice system, the healthcare system. Recently, I got trouble because my breath had alcohol in it. My driving was 100% safe. That happened more than a year ago, or almost a year ago, and more than a year ago. Every one of the offenders had shatty breath, shat in their breath, poo. I didn't. Every offender had COVID, and they were police, probably ex-soldiers, and they all had cancer, and they all had radioactive pollutions, and they all had radiations, and they all had weapons. And they all attacked a guy who didn't have any weapons and didn't mean any harm. And you call that road safety? Poo bags? You are cancers. Criminals. I had enough. I will individually arrest any offenders and will not let them to do anything wrong again. I will start with the police and the soldiers and the doctors and the politicians, because you, the guys, we are mostly meant to trust in, but we can't. No one can anymore trust the police. No one can anymore trust the politicians. No one can anymore trust the doctors. No one can anymore trust the teachers. No one can even trust anyone anymore. Stop eating animals. Stop keeping animals. Stop breeding animals. Stop drinking animals. Stop being animals. All of you.